Have you ever wondered if it's better to avoid people as you get older? What if I told you that the key to a peaceful and fulfilling life at 65 could lie in spending more time alone? It might sound surprising, but as we age, our needs and desires shift in ways that can change how we approach socializing. In today's video, we'll explore the surprising benefits of choosing solitude in older age, and how embracing time alone can lead to greater peace, clarity, and a deeper connection with yourself. As we get older, our priorities change, and what once felt like a constant need for social interaction can transform into a preference for quiet reflection and personal growth. So, let's dive into why, at 65, I found that avoiding people might just be the best decision for my well-being. Lesson 1. The energy shift. Why socializing feels draining as we age. One of the most noticeable changes as we age is the shift in our physical and mental energy. When we're younger, we can go from one social event to the next, fueled by excitement and the rush of interacting with others. But as we get older, that constant energy reserve starts to feel more limited. Physical stamina begins to decline, and the mental focus that once seemed endless starts to wear thin. This natural process can lead to a growing need to conserve energy, especially when it comes to socializing. Socializing can become draining, not because we don't enjoy it, but because the energy it requires now feels more costly than before. The need for rest and recharging becomes much more apparent in our 60s and beyond. The days of non-stop socializing, hopping from one event to another, or being the life of the party start to feel like a distant memory. Instead, we might find ourselves seeking more time alone or with just a small, familiar group of people. It's not a rejection of socializing, but rather an instinctual shift to listen to our bodies and minds, recognizing when enough is enough. It's almost as if we become more attuned to how much energy each interaction requires and how to preserve that energy for the things that truly matter. This energy shift doesn't just affect the quantity of socializing we do, it also impacts the quality of the interactions we crave. As we age, we become more selective about the company we keep. The small talk and surface-level connections we once enjoyed might feel less appealing. Instead, there's a desire for deeper, more meaningful interactions with people who understand us, respect our space, and share similar life experiences. The need for large social gatherings, where we might be surrounded by people we don't know well, can seem unnecessary. It's not that we don't value others, but rather that we crave interactions that nourish our soul rather than drain our energy. This new selective nature in socializing can be incredibly freeing. By reducing the number of interactions we engage in, we leave more room for the relationships that truly fulfill us. We no longer feel the need to please everyone or maintain a broad social network. Instead, we prioritize the people who add value to our lives, who bring comfort, wisdom, or joy, rather than those who might simply occupy our time. And while it may sound like we're cutting ourselves off from the world, it's actually an act of self-preservation and respect for our limited energy. In embracing this shift, we also learn to accept and appreciate the quiet moments in between. Those moments where we're not juggling multiple social obligations or feeling the pressure to be on all the time. It's in these moments that we reconnect with ourselves, find peace, and recharge. So, as we age, socializing doesn't have to be about doing more. It's about doing less, but with intention, presence, and mindfulness. Recognizing that sometimes it's the space between interactions that brings us the most peace. Lesson 2. The value of reflection. Discovering your inner peace. As we get older, solitude can offer us something more precious than just a quiet break from the world. It gives us time for deep self-reflection and personal growth. When we were younger, many of us might have been caught up in the hustle and bustle of life, constantly moving from one task or social obligation to the next. But now, With fewer distractions and a quieter pace, we have the opportunity to reflect on who we are, where we've been, and where we're headed. This time spent in solitude allows us to explore our thoughts, values, and experiences in a way that helps us understand ourselves on a deeper level. Through this self-reflection, we gain a clearer sense of our true desires and motivations. We start to notice patterns in our behavior, the choices we've made, and the lessons we've learned throughout the years. This newfound clarity often leads to a sense of peace as we begin to accept ourselves more fully. Instead of seeking answers or approval from the outside world, we start to trust our own inner wisdom. Solitude creates a space where we can confront our fears, regrets, and desires without judgment, allowing us to heal and grow in a way that simply isn't possible when we're constantly surrounded by the noise of others. This inner peace doesn't come from external validation as it might have in earlier years. The need to impress others or seek approval starts to fade as we realize that the only validation we truly need is our own. With age comes the understanding that our worth isn't defined by the opinions or expectations of others. It's rooted in our own experiences, values, and the way we choose to live our lives. As we reflect on the paths we've walked, we can see how much we've accomplished and how much we've learned, which brings us a profound sense of contentment. There's no longer a need to prove ourselves to anyone. We are enough, just as we are. What's even more powerful is that this reflection leads to an increased sense of gratitude. In spending time alone, we come to appreciate the moments, people, and experiences that have shaped us. We see the beauty in small, everyday things that we might have once overlooked. Whether it's a quiet walk, a cup of tea, or the comfort of our own thoughts, these simple pleasures become more meaningful as we grow older. The contentment that comes from within is far more fulfilling than any external praise or achievement ever could be. By embracing solitude, we also develop a stronger sense of purpose. We become more intentional about how we spend our time and energy, focusing on what truly matters to us. No longer bound by the need to seek validation or fit into societal molds, we carve out lives that reflect our true selves. This journey of self-discovery, rooted in the quiet moments of reflection, brings us closer to the inner peace that we've been seeking all along. Solitude becomes not just an escape, but a doorway to a more authentic and fulfilling life. Lesson 3: Less drama, more tranquility. As we age, we naturally start to distance ourselves from the chaos and drama that once seemed like a regular part of life. In our younger years, we might have been caught up in the rush of social conflicts, office politics, or even personal relationships that were full of tension. But as we reach our 60s and beyond, the appeal of that kind of drama fades, and we begin to crave a life centered around tranquility and peace. It's not that we no longer care about the world around us, but we've come to realize that much of the stress and turmoil we once engaged in simply isn't worth the energy. This shift toward tranquility is liberating. Life becomes less about reacting to outside forces and more about finding ways to create an environment that nurtures our well-being. We stop feeling the need to keep up with every social trend or participate in every heated conversation. Instead, we seek quiet moments. Whether that's a peaceful walk in nature, reading a book, or enjoying a cup of coffee in silence. These small, simple activities begin to feel far more rewarding than the social hustle of younger years. The need for constant excitement or drama fades, replaced by a deeper appreciation for stillness and contentment. Part of this shift involves actively choosing to avoid toxic or stressful social environments. As we get older, we become more aware of the people and situations that drain us. We no longer have the patience for negativity or conflict, and the idea of being around people who stir up drama or create unnecessary tension starts to feel like a burden. This doesn't mean we shut ourselves off from the world entirely, but we become more discerning about the energy we allow into our lives. By letting go of relationships or situations that cause stress, we make room for more positive, peaceful interactions. The relief of avoiding toxic environments can be profound. Not only does it reduce the mental and emotional toll of dealing with unnecessary conflict, but it also frees up space for deeper, more fulfilling relationships. We start to focus more on the people who bring positivity, wisdom, and joy into our lives, rather than those who leave us feeling exhausted or drained. This focus on peace and harmony allows us to experience life in a way that's less about external chaos and more about internal balance. Ultimately, seeking tranquility as we age leads to a more fulfilling and relaxed way of living. We learn to prioritize what matters most: our health, our happiness, and our peace of mind. The pursuit of tranquility becomes a daily practice, and as we let go of unnecessary drama, we open ourselves up to a life that is not only quieter but also richer in meaning. With less stress and fewer distractions, we can truly appreciate the simple pleasures and find joy in the stillness of life. Lesson 4. Relationships change. Reevaluating the need for constant socialization. As we age, relationships inevitably evolve. In our younger years, it's often about building an expansive social network, making new friends, attending events, and staying connected to a wide circle of acquaintances. But as we move into our 60s and beyond, we naturally begin to reevaluate the role of socialization in our lives. The need to maintain a large group of friends or attend every gathering starts to diminish, and instead we focus more on the quality of our relationships than the quantity. It's not that we're giving up on connection, it's that we're becoming more discerning about who we invest our time and energy in. The shift is often subtle but profound. Where we once might have felt the pressure to keep up with a busy social calendar or be seen at every event, we now find more fulfillment in spending time with a small, close-knit group of people who truly understand us. These deep, meaningful connections take precedence over having numerous acquaintances. The friendships we once formed out of convenience or societal expectation begin to fall away, and we focus on the relationships that bring us joy, support, and genuine connection. The small group of people we choose to spend time with becomes our circle of trust and comfort, rather than a large network of people who we may only know on the surface. This change in relationship dynamics can be incredibly freeing. We no longer feel obligated to attend every social event or participate in every conversation. Instead, we carve out the time to nurture those few relationships that really matter. It's a shift from the social pressure of staying busy to the personal freedom of choosing how we spend our time. We learn to appreciate the value of deeper conversations, shared experiences, and mutual understanding that come with long-standing relationships. These connections offer more substance and emotional fulfillment than any number of fleeting acquaintances could ever provide. In some cases, relationships that once felt important may naturally fade as we age. We might find ourselves letting go of friendships that no longer align with our values or lifestyle. The effort required to maintain certain connections may no longer feel worth it, and we become more comfortable with the idea that it's okay to let go of relationships that no longer serve us. This is part of the process of refining our social circle and ensuring that the people we spend time with contribute positively to our lives. Ultimately, this shift in relationships leads to a greater sense of contentment. We begin to understand that having a few meaningful friendships is far more fulfilling than being surrounded by a large number of acquaintances. The deep bonds we form in our later years offer a sense of security and peace, knowing that these connections are rooted in understanding, mutual respect, and shared history. By reevaluating the need for constant socialization, we discover that the relationships that truly matter are the ones that provide us with lasting joy, emotional support, and a sense of belonging. Lesson 5. The joy of independence, reclaiming your time. As we get older, One of the most rewarding aspects of embracing solitude is the freedom to reclaim our time. Without the constant demands of work, social obligations, or the need to please others, we have the opportunity to rediscover the joy of being alone. For many, this time alone becomes an invitation to pursue long-forgotten hobbies, dive into personal interests, or simply rest without interruption. Whether it's painting, gardening, reading, or even just sitting in silence, solitude offers a space where we can reconnect with activities that bring us joy and fulfillment without the pressure of fitting them into a busy schedule. It's a luxury many of us didn't fully appreciate earlier in life, but as we age, we realize just how much value there is in having time for ourselves. This newfound freedom is also a gift of independence. When we're alone, we are no longer influenced by the needs or schedules of others. There's no one telling us what to do, where to go, or how to spend our time. This leads to a stronger sense of self-reliance, as we are fully in control of our own decisions and actions. Instead of relying on others for entertainment, validation, or support, we start to find satisfaction in our own company. We become more comfortable with the idea that we are enough as we are, and that our happiness doesn't depend on the presence or approval of others. This independence allows us to live life on our own terms in a way that feels authentic and true to who we are. The joy of being independent also extends to our ability to create routines that suit our own needs. Whether it's waking up at the time that feels best for us, enjoying a leisurely breakfast, or structuring our day around our own energy levels and interests, we become the architects of our own lives. This flexibility provides a sense of empowerment as we realize that we no longer have to conform to external expectations or societal pressures. The act of making choices for ourselves, no matter how small, reinstates a sense of agency and purpose. Moreover, solitude gives us the space to develop a deeper relationship with ourselves. We no longer need to fill every moment with external distractions or activities to avoid being alone. Instead, we can sit quietly with our thoughts, reflecting on our experiences, our goals, and our values. This time spent in introspection leads to personal growth and a stronger sense of self-worth, as we learn to trust our instincts and appreciate our own company. The more we embrace our independence, the more we realize that solitude is not something to fear, but something to cherish. Ultimately, the joy of independence that comes with being alone allows us to live more fulfilling lives. We no longer feel the pressure to seek constant validation or approval from others. Instead, we find contentment in the freedom to make choices that honor our own needs and desires. The peace that comes from knowing we are self-reliant and capable of thriving in our own company is incredibly liberating. As we age, we realize that true independence isn't just about living alone. It's about living life on our own terms and finding joy in the freedom to reclaim our time. Lesson 6. Avoiding the shoulds. Living for yourself, not others. As we get older, one of the most liberating realizations is that we no longer have to live according to the expectations of others. Throughout our lives, we often find ourselves caught up in the shoulds, those societal norms and obligations that tell us how we should act, where we should go, or who we should be seen with. Whether it's attending every social gathering, maintaining a certain image, or conforming to the ideals of what it means to be successful or busy, these external pressures can create a sense of obligation rather than joy. But as we age, those societal expectations begin to fade, and we are finally free to live authentically in alignment with our own values and desires. This shift away from the shoulds brings incredible freedom. No longer bound by the need to please others or adhere to social conventions, we start to prioritize our personal well-being above all else. We begin to make choices based on what feels right for us, rather than what we think is expected of us. This might mean declining invitations to events that no longer bring us joy, or even deciding not to participate in certain activities simply because we don't feel like it. The guilt that often accompanies saying no gradually fades, and we realize that it's okay to prioritize ourselves and our peace of mind. Letting go of social shoulds also opens up space for deeper self-reflection. When we stop living to meet the demands of others, we are left with the time and mental energy to focus on what truly matters to us. This might involve pursuing passions that were put on hold, spending time with loved ones who truly nourish us, or simply taking the time to rest without feeling the need to justify it. By living for ourselves, we free ourselves from the constant need for external validation, allowing us to experience life with a sense of fulfillment that comes from within. Moreover, this freedom allows us to embrace a life of simplicity. Without the pressure to keep up with the social hustle or maintain a busy lifestyle, we can opt for a slower pace that feels more in tune with our age and needs. We no longer feel the need to attend every gathering, respond to every message, or be constantly available for others. Instead, we learn to enjoy life on our own terms, savoring the moments that bring us joy and letting go of those that no longer serve us. Ultimately, avoiding the shoulds is about reclaiming control over our lives. We recognize that our time is valuable and that how we spend it should be a reflection of our personal desires, not societal expectations. This freedom allows us to live authentically, choosing only those activities and relationships that contribute to our happiness and well-being. By living for ourselves, we find a deeper sense of peace and satisfaction, knowing that we are honoring our true selves and letting go of the pressures that once defined us. Lesson 7. The impact on mental health, reduced stress and anxiety. As we age, one of the most profound benefits of embracing solitude is its positive impact on mental health. Social interactions, while important, can often be a source of stress and emotional fatigue. In our younger years, we may not realize just how draining constant socializing and fulfilling external expectations can be on our emotional well-being. However, as we move into our 60s and beyond, we begin to appreciate the mental health benefits of reducing social exposure. Limiting these interactions allows us to lower levels of stress, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion, offering a much-needed respite from the demands of constant engagement. When we choose solitude, we create space for ourselves to step away from the noise and chaos of the world. This quiet time offers a break from the emotional demands that come with navigating various social dynamics, which can sometimes lead to tension, misunderstandings, or even drama. By removing ourselves from these potentially stressful situations, we can protect our mental health and prevent unnecessary anxiety. Solitude allows us to regain our emotional equilibrium, reducing the pressures that often accompany being constantly on in social settings. It's a chance to unwind and recharge, free from the expectations that can leave us feeling drained. Furthermore, solitude fosters clarity and emotional balance. When we are alone, we can process our thoughts and emotions more effectively. Instead of being pulled in multiple directions by the needs and opinions of others, we have the time to reflect on what matters most to us, allowing for greater self-understanding. This introspective time can help us prioritize our own well-being, create boundaries, and let go of the emotional clutter that can cloud our judgment. Whether it's through meditation, journaling, or simply taking a quiet walk, solitude offers a way to reset and restore our mental health. An example of how solitude contributes to mental clarity is in the way it helps us manage difficult emotions. When we're constantly surrounded by people or caught up in social obligations, we may find ourselves reacting impulsively or being influenced by external stressors. But in solitude, we can take a step back and approach our emotions from a more grounded place. Whether it's feeling frustrated, anxious, or overwhelmed, The quiet moments of alone time allow us to process these emotions thoughtfully, leading to more balanced responses and healthier coping mechanisms. Ultimately, the impact on mental health is a major benefit of embracing solitude in our later years. Reduced social exposure allows us to preserve our emotional energy, reduce stress, and maintain mental clarity. With fewer external pressures and distractions, we can cultivate a stronger sense of emotional well-being. This shift not only reduces anxiety and emotional fatigue, but also enhances our overall quality of life, allowing us to enjoy a peaceful, balanced existence as we navigate the later chapters of life. Lesson 8. Strengthening existing bonds, quality over quantity. As we age, our relationships undergo a natural shift. The more we embrace solitude, the more we begin to focus on the relationships that truly matter to us. While in earlier years we may have felt the pressure to maintain a wide social network or attend every event, as we get older, we realize that the quality of our relationships is far more important than the quantity. By choosing solitude, we give ourselves the time and space to nurture the deeper connections we already have, allowing them to flourish in ways that constant socializing never could. One of the most significant benefits of spending time alone is the ability to prioritize meaningful one-on-one or small group interactions. These intimate settings provide the opportunity for genuine connection, where we can engage in deeper conversations and truly listen to one another. Instead of being surrounded by crowds or feeling the pressure to be constantly on in large gatherings, solitude helps us focus our energy on the people who bring us the most joy and fulfillment. Whether it's a close friend, family member, or partner, these smaller interactions allow for more heartfelt exchanges, strengthening the bonds that truly enrich our lives. Additionally, by reducing our social exposure, we are able to cultivate more mindful and intentional relationships. We no longer spread ourselves thin by trying to maintain a vast number of acquaintances. Instead, we invest our time and energy into the people who uplift us, providing a stronger foundation for those connections to thrive. The deeper focus on quality over quantity can lead to a greater sense of mutual respect, trust, and understanding, allowing our most important relationships to grow even stronger. This focus on meaningful interactions also helps us appreciate the value of solitude. When we have fewer distractions and fewer social obligations, we are better able to appreciate the moments we do spend with others. A quiet afternoon with a loved one can become an opportunity to truly connect, free from the rush of busy schedules or the pressure to entertain. These moments become more precious and are often more fulfilling than larger, more impersonal social events that can sometimes feel shallow or overstimulating. Ultimately, choosing solitude allows us to shift our perspective on relationships. Instead of feeling like we need to constantly be surrounded by people, we learn to cherish the moments of connection that truly matter. The time spent alone helps us to reevaluate our relationships and strengthen the ones that nourish our souls. By embracing quality over quantity, we can experience a deeper sense of fulfillment, knowing that the bonds we've created are meaningful, authentic, and lasting. Conclusion. As we've explored today, solitude in later years can be one of the most rewarding choices for your well-being. By embracing time alone, we give ourselves the space to recharge, reflect, and focus on the relationships that truly matter. It's about quality over quantity, peace over stress, and living life on your own terms. Thank you for watching. If you found these insights helpful, leave a comment with either a 9 if you're embracing solitude, or a 0 if you're still figuring it out. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, take care and enjoy the peaceful moments in your life.